What's going on, everyone? So, according to reports coming out of Brooklyn, the Nets are looking to acquire a pick in this year's draft, the 2024 draft. That they don't have a pick in this draft. A couple pieces that apparently that they like in this draft, and both of their picks went out in the James Harden deal. So they want to acquire some type of asset, some type of pick in this year's draft. Now, this draft isn't great, or it's not perceived as great, right? Like the word is that this is, a terrible draft. And there's no like clarity of like what the Nets want as far as like a pick. Like, do they want the top 10 pick, or do they want, because it just kind of sounds like they just want to pick, they just want a young asset that they can grow and develop, right? So to me, it's like, okay, well, they have a couple pieces that make a lot of sense for the Lakers. Right? Like, can you get like a Cam Johnson? Can you get a Dorian Finney-Smith? Right? Dorian Finney-Smith is probably more likely than Cam Johnson, but I'm talking about maybe some other trades. Remember, Brooklyn's one of the teams that really wanted D'Angelo Russell. They're one of the teams that was working hard to try to get D'Lo. Can you work something out to where, like, even a three-team deal, right? Where you work something out to get DeJounte Murray? Can you get DeJounte Murray and like Dorian Finney-Smith? Right, this stuff we were talking about at the trade deadline, but things change, right? Like, a lot of deals don't get done at the trade deadline that end up taking place in the offseason, and vice versa. Some deals don't get done in the offseason and end up taking place at the trade deadline, right? Look at like Kevin Durant, for example, right, to Phoenix. That was something that was like for months was being worked out. Didn't happen, ends up falling through, and then all of a sudden fast forward a few months and boom, it happens. So to me, it's like Brooklyn could be that middleman for us, or they could also be just a direct trade, right? Where you work something out, right? Like, could you do something where you're doing like D'Lo, especially if they want to keep Bridges? Because like their talks are, they want to get another star around Mikal Bridges. There are kind of murmurs going around that like they're entertaining Mikal Bridges trades, but like we've gotten so many reports where they're like, Mikal Bridges is Michael Jordan in his prime, and we're not trading him for anything. like there's reports that they've turned down like 5 firsts, 4 firsts, like insane assets. So, but also you got to think like they're a team that can't really tank. So it's like, okay, I can kind of understand it, but they supposedly want to kind of build around Mikal. They're interested in D'Lo. They don't really have anybody like Rui. All of their like sizable forwards are all small forwards. None of them are big, bulky guys like, Rui Hachimura. Can you work something out to where you could get like Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith? Like give up, D'Lo, Rui, the 17th pick in this year's draft. I'd even give them the 55th if you want that. Go ahead, take that. But they'll probably keep that for Bronny, for being honest. But say the 17th pick, and then like I would a pick swap. Right? Like that again, you're getting your a point guard that you really wanted and you were trying actively to get. Where if Atlanta was more like if they were able to work out the Atlanta side of things, Brooklyn would have gotten D'Lo. They really wanted D'Lo, so boom, there you go. You get D'Lo. You get a sizable forward in Rui Hachimura, which fits the power forward need that you have desperately. So now you could have essentially like D'Lo, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, Rui Hachimura, and Nick Claxton. Right, so now you got this young core that can score, versatile. Like that could be something that maybe they're interested in. Obviously, they want to get another star, but you also have all these other pieces that you could use to go get that. And then if the Lakers could get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, I mean, you could slot those two guys right there. I mean, I'd still prefer like a DeJounte. So again, can you kind of work out a 3-team deal? Where, maybe Brooklyn's throwing in some stuff to where you're getting Dorian Finney-Smith and DeJounte Murray. Like, that would be really nice. To me, that'd be perfect, right? Because then you could go like DeJounte, Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Like, that's tough, right? Between Dorian Finney-Smith and his versatility on the defense side, he's a legit 3-and-D guy. DeJounte Murray, if he can kind of get back to being that all NBA defensive guy. Yeah, you got LeBron, you got AD, you got shooting, you got defense, you got switchability. Like, to me, that's a tough roster. But beyond that and outside of that, it's like, it obviously again, it's what is the value that they put on a first round pick in this year's draft, right? Do they value, like, are they looking at the 17th pick like they would any other 17th pick? Where, obviously the 17th pick doesn't have top 10 type thing, but there is a perceived value of like, okay, this guy equates to that, right? In most drafts, the 17th pick would probably get you Dorian Finney-Smith because he is older. Yes, he's a proven 3-and-D guy, but he's not like OG level. Like, there's factors that go into it. Plus, they kind of have this abundance of guys like that they probably would be best to unload some of those guys, kind of clear up some of the logjam, right? So there's like factors. So like most occasions, the 17th pick should just get you a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. But in this draft, again, if like based on kind of the experts, they all say take off the top 6 guys to top 8 guys even in a normal draft, in a good draft, and now start. So if you're taking the top 6 guys, then really the 17th pick would be like the 23rd pick, right? So again, like, but to me, it's like Brooklyn, like we know Brooklyn, that we know we have things that Brooklyn wants, right? We know D'Lo, Rui, picks, right? Like, okay, we have something you guys want. You have pieces that we could want and make sense for us. So to me, it's like, can we marry this together and come up with a deal to kind of upgrade in some key areas and put us in position to where, again, can you do whatever? Like, can you just swap players and just throw in the 17th pick for Dorian Finney-Smith? Or do you have to or do they want, we have to have Reeves, or, we have to have D'Lo, right? It's like, well, no, I'd rather keep D'Lo because D'Lo likely leads to DeJounte Murray or likely leads to, some other piece. Also, it depends on D'Lo himself, right? Because like if D'Lo, what if D'Lo's like, hey, if you don't trade me to the Nets, then I'm opting out. But I think it's more and more likely, just based on how things are shaping up, it's looking more and more likely like D'Lo's probably going to have to opt in. I mean, we're going to find out in a couple days. We're like, a week away or whatever it is from him having to make his decision. So to me, it's kind of like, okay, because my problem with Brooklyn is they're just overvaluing things insane. We saw like Chicago do that, but now Chicago's finally come back to reality, and the meds wore off, and they're kind of like, okay, let's be real now, right? Are the Brooklyn Nets going to do that now, right? Because again, they're acting like Mikal Bridges is prime Michael Jordan, right? They're acting like Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith and all these guys are, prime Ron Artest or whatever. Like, it's silly. It's like, no, like they're good players. Like no one's denying the playability and the value that they have, but there's realistic expectation. Again, there's like age. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Like, you're not trading Dorian Finney-Smith as a star. You're not trading Dorian Finney-Smith and getting a package of like 2 or 3 firsts for him, right? Like, that's insane. That's why they tried and they couldn't. They tried to trade everybody and they could, well, except for Mikal Bridges. They were trying to unload anybody that they could, but the prices were so high. They wanted all of that. The only guy that they were basically willing to give away was Spencer Dinwiddie. And the Lakers almost traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, but then everyone kind of realized, like, wait a minute, the Nets are probably just going to buy him out. So why would we go and trade for him when we could just hold tight and let them buy him out? But outside of that, everyone else was just insanely valued to me. So if the Lakers can work something out to where, hey, this is a realist, like Dorian Finney-Smith shouldn't cost you more than the 17th pick. Obviously, you got to match salaries, but like as far as assets beyond the players go, right? Like that 17th pick should get you Dorian Finney-Smith. Again, he's not 25 and this premier 3-and-D guy. He's not even like a top 5 3-and-D guy, but he's still very good. He's a veteran guy. He's not afraid of the moment. He has experience, right? He can defend multiple things. And the Lakers are strapped for those. Like, the Lakers need those types of guys badly, right? So it's kind of like, beggars can't be choosers. So to me, it's kind of like I'm scratching your back, you're scratching my back, everyone's happy, right? You want Rui, maybe we can work something out, right? You want D'Lo and Rui, maybe we can work something out. Like, I'm open to expanding the deal. Again, like I said, bring in Atlanta, kind of go back to that 3-team potential trade that was out there. There's options and flexibility there from all sides. But to me, the Nets have to come to, because it's not even like a Laker tax, right? Because that's usually, well, yeah, it's the Lakers. Of course they want, 3 firsts for Dorian Finney-Smith. No, they were asking for that from everybody. Right? That's why no one went and got him. It wasn't one of those things where it was like 2-3 firsts from the Lakers and they ended up trading him for 3 seconds. Right? No, it wasn't anything like that. No, it was they want this and nobody's willing to meet it. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of the Brooklyn Nets maybe trading the 17th pick, getting Dorian Finney-Smith, expand the trade, go get, like I said, Cam Johnson, maybe Cam Thomas, and Dorian Finney-Smith? Would you, maybe kind of work them into the Atlanta deal, right? Also, you got to keep in mind, Atlanta's probably more open to D'Lo now than they were at the deadline, because now they want to have a fire sale and rebuild. So that expiring money actually has some value. So they might not even be willing to send D'Lo to the Nets anymore, right? Unless, because the old thing was like, oh, we want somebody to take D'Lo, right? Because we don't want D'Lo and Trey playing together. Well, now it's like they're planning on trading Trey and DeJounte. So now they might be more open to like, hey, let's run D'Lo for a year, and then his money falls off the books. So that's something else to kind of keep in mind as well. But again, I feel whatever your thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me know these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.